What is up guys, Dan DeSilva here, and in this video we need to cover something so important, something that has a direct impact on your business if you're currently running Facebook ads. So a lot of you know that recently the FTC has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Facebook to break up the conglomerate of WhatsApp, Instagram, and remove them from Facebook and make them their own entities. So we all know that's going on. However, something big has just happened between Apple and Facebook, and in this video I'm gonna break down everything, but I'm gonna break down more things than anybody else that you've probably watched on YouTube has covered. And I'm gonna show you how you can also go ahead and overcome what's about to happen and how to pivot and how we're actually pivoting. And I kind of saw this coming where privacy was becoming a massive thing. So we decided to start using something called UTMs, which we'll get more on that later because it's so vital that you learn how to use this because of what's about to happen. So we're experiencing one of the biggest clashes ever, which is Facebook going against Apple. Really Apple going against Facebook. What's happening is Apple's telling Facebook, listen, we're not gonna let you collect any of our user data anymore with our new iOS 14 rollout, with the new privacy settings we have. Facebook is up in arms because let's think about it. Us as advertisers, when we advertise, anywhere from 70 to 80% of our traffic comes from mobile. So what this means is now that we won't be able to get any user data, we won't be able to target down to the interest. We won't be able to pull any data back from the user, which again is really bad when it comes down to advertising standpoints because we need those data points to optimize. So what does this mean exactly? Well, that means there's less data for Facebook, which means that it's gonna be way harder for them to optimize for you and other small businesses, which becomes kind of a massive problem given the fact that we're relying on them to find customers for us, but they don't have the data to go ahead and find customers for us now if Apple blocks them because of the new privacy update that's rolling out in the new iOS. So basically I want you to think of it like this. If somebody goes to your website and purchases X product and you have your Facebook pixel on there, then what Facebook goes ahead and does is they'll find more individuals like that one person who purchased from you, and they'll actually show your ads to similar people like that one person, and that's how they go ahead and optimize. And again, there's a lot more nitty-gritty that goes on to it, but that's pretty much how it works. Now here's something that I found out. Apple is actually going to ask the user if they have or want to grant consent to Apple to allow them to share their information. That was kind of a little bit of a tongue twister. But essentially, Apple is saying, hey, listen, we want to go ahead and give you the ability to share your information, but only if you want to. You don't need to, but if you want to, you can. But we suggest that maybe you don't, or else we wouldn't be offering you this feature, right? So kind of think of it like that. Now, why that's important for me to mention is because Apple is threatening to take that away from Facebook. They're essentially saying, hey, listen, we're gonna stop feeding you data on our users, and you're just gonna have to accept it. We're gonna go ahead and run this on mobile. And for those of you that advertise, know that Facebook and mobile, iOS, are literally massive traffic sources for ads. Roughly anywhere from like 70 to 80% of our traffic comes from mobile. So removing all of that traffic will be detrimental to Facebook. Now let me read you a snippet from one article that I went ahead and found. It says the stakes for Facebook are high. Analysts project the company will bring in a record of $80 billion in ad sales this year, and internal data from their employees, shared with their employees this month, shows that the social network has never had more advertisers. In just the last 6 months alone, in 2020, the company has had growth like they've never seen. Now they have 12.6 million advertisers. And if you see right over here, it's up from 11.9 million in the first half of this year, while weekly value of their ads grew by over 20%, or close to $2.3 billion. Now, something that was very interesting that caught my attention was inside of the article, there was a statement that was said. And the statement is, it feels like we're trying to justify doing a bad thing by hiding behind people with a sympathetic message. But this is one of the most vital points to this entire video, and I suggest you keep on watching. And if you haven't done so, just absolutely obliterate that like button for me. That would help me out so much and just kind of be like a little thank you for all the research that I did in this video. Facebook has also had massive backlash about their absolute horrid support. You can probably get a better chance of Helen Keller describing the color red than you can get a representative from Facebook to ever reach back out to you. That's how bad it is. So Facebook needs to really work on their actual support. Now get this, you know the blackouts that were happening in October of this year where all ad accounts were suddenly being shut down and ads rejected like crazy? So that blackout that occurred was actually due to the new Facebook automated bot that they rolled out. But here's what I want to say and tell you right now, that they rolled out this automated bot and they cut 30% of their support staff. Now what's crazy to me is that Facebook actually boasted that they cut their support costs down by over 30%. But here's the simple fact of it. It's at your expense. It's at my expense, because we're the individuals that need to go ahead and have Facebook representatives or some sort of Facebook support to run our businesses. So at the end of the day, they boasted how they're saving money on support. They rolled out this new automated bot that handles, the support that they cut. However, there's less support for the small business owners that got their ad account revoked during this blackout, which is also very intriguing to me because a lot of these accounts were still suspended, but a lot of them, like a vast majority of them, were given back. Even ours, when we actually, went through this little ad apocalypse, we ended up recovering every single one of the ad accounts because the automated bot got it wrong. But what I want to say is I find it very weird and kind of unjustly that they were boasting about how much revenue they were going to save. Well, I guess make, because they cut 30% of the support staff when vast majority of small business owners need that support staff there, which again is going to tie into the biggest factor. But now let's talk about the big issue here that people are really questioning Facebook's motives for, and they're basically saying, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense here. Are you sure about this? And they're literally questioning Facebook, and you could see right through it. Now the big factor that I've been talking about is that Facebook is using a very interesting agenda with small business owners like yourself and myself as well. Now, they're essentially using us as a shield, as a prop for this entire crusade that they're going on against Apple. So what I mean by this is that Facebook's angle for all of this is that it's gonna affect the small business owner dramatically by Apple increasing their privacy and security with the next iOS update. But I just find it so ironic that it's going to affect the small business owner when the small business owners are the ones being kind of punished on the platform and having no support, which Facebook has been criticized about for years, and people have complained about it for years as well. We've literally voiced our opinions in every single group, in all the comment section, in all the Reddit posts, in every forum. This has been an ongoing issue for years, and what's the solution? They're cutting 30% and leaving it to an automated bot, yet they're using small business owners as propaganda to go, or pawns if you will, to go against Apple, which in my opinion is extremely tasteless, unjust, and quite frankly, it doesn't really make sense to me. But in my personal opinion, I don't think that Facebook is at their end. As a matter of fact, I think that they have a lot of room for improvement because their algorithm, when it comes to advertising, in my opinion, is the best algorithm out there, even better than Google's for optimizing your advertisements. And I think a lot of other advertisers would agree, just because of how vast their network is and how incredibly well their targeting is. And not only that, but how smart the AI is in order to go and find other individuals, such as lookalike audiences, or once your pixel is trained, and get more sales based on that data. So again, Facebook has a lot of room for improvement still. Now the question becomes, how exactly do I pivot? How do I go out there and get used to the changes that are about to happen with Facebook and all the tracking? Well, this is such a good question. For those of you that have never heard of the Urchin Tracking Module, or UTM for short, it's how we're able to track precisely. Actually, let me rephrase that. We're able to track better than the Facebook pixel can. And you can do this with Google Analytics, or you can do this with tools such as ClickMagick, Volume, VOLUUM. I use ClickMagick. We have multiple different accounts. We have some for Shop Done For You. We have some for our e-commerce brands that we run, and then we have it for our clients as well. So we have multiple different ClickMagick accounts. And what I want to show you is exactly how you're going to be able to overcome this problem that's about to happen with the tracking inside of Facebook, and how you're gonna be able to still track. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be able to track even better than you were before. And a lot of you are gonna say, wait a minute, this looks really familiar. Maybe, something like Hyros rings a bell. Well, Hyros, in my opinion, is just another fancy way of saying UTM tracking, just with a really shiny Chrome extension. But again, I'm not knocking it. I actually think it's a very useful app. I'm telling you that it's useful. But for those of you that don't have hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars to spend, this is gonna be the next best thing to track UTMs. Now let me show you exactly what it does and why it's so important to track this way in the near future as Facebook goes ahead and pivots and you have to readapt. So let's dive into my computer and I'll show you that right now. All right, so everyone's gonna be asking the same question. How exactly are we gonna be able to track? What are we gonna do? Well, you have a few options. You can use Google Analytics, you can use ClickMagick, or you can go ahead and use something like Hyros. So again, I like ClickMagick because it's cheap. It works the best out of everything that I've tried. So let me show you inside of my ShopDFY account. Now I ran a little test over here, so don't mind that, but you can just see these are all the actual funnels we have because I spread them out through a lot of different business managers, as you can see inside of here. So let's just click on shopdfy.com because this is where we ran all of the Google stuff. Now don't worry about the negative profit and ROI because I didn't input. If you click right over here, you can update ad spend every single day. And if I update the ad spend, it'll actually go ahead and calculate everything you're about to see. So check this out. If I click on UTM performance, I'm able to see exactly what source it came from. So Google, I'm gonna go ahead and I want to track the medium be Google. And now we are on AdWords, right? Campaign, ShopDFY. The term, now this is gonna be important. We're gonna click on term over here and you're gonna be able to see, so this is the term, etc. What does the term mean? Well, think of it as like an interest. So you would call this interest whatever you want it to be, like luxury vehicles if you were targeting luxury vehicles, or richer targeting, or YouTube viewers retargeting. This is my retargeting campaign. I know out of my retargeting campaign, I had 586 unique clicks. One person booked a call, and that call was booked for $920. And then right over here, let's see, I had a call booked for advertising and marketing services, 249 clicks from that particular targeting. I had 2 people book a call, 66 people opt in. I spent $355 on this campaign and it's all automatically built for me. So you're like, wow, that's really, really cool. Well, yeah, it definitely is, but I'm gonna show you how to set this up. So you'd actually click, you'd click right here and click on website code. You would click on conversion tracking, you would click on sale, and you would click this little tool and just click Shopify dynamic amount token. As you can see, it added the total price money without currency. So it's gonna track how much that sale was worth to you. So it automatically will grab the price, so the order value, and place it inside the total price. So we're gonna copy this to clipboard. And I have this site that I'm putting up on Shopify, Dan Silva Consulting, where I'm gonna be just hosting a few consulting gigs every single month or so, probably like 4 or 5 seats every single month. It'll be a pop-up, so it'll be cool. Don't worry about it right now. If you want to learn more, links in the description. I'm not pitching anything. So over here, if I go into settings, go to checkout, I scroll down. You want to paste the script right in here because it shows up on the order page after the checkout. So if I were to just go ahead and add a space, you can click save, but I'll remove that space and then click save again. So now our little tracking code is in there. However, we want to do click tracking as well. So we're going to copy to clipboard. And what I suggest you do is you get this app. Let me refresh this app right over here. So you would click on here and then you would actually go ahead and you would paste that code we just grabbed inside of special pages, all pages right over here, and then you would paste that code right there and delete the spaces, click save, and now the code should be there. So if we go back to the domain and then we just click view page source, we can see at the very top in the header that the script is here. So it's tracking perfectly. Now, how do we track if we're getting sales and all that? So the site's not built out, don't worry. I'm gonna grab this product, okay? I'm gonna grab this product URL, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head back into Click Magic. Now you're gonna love it. This is like the magic of this all. This is gonna be sick. So you click on URL Builder, you paste in the domain, right? So now we have this as our domain. UTM source, let's say we're running Facebook ads and we have a CBO campaign. UTM campaign, well, we can name this the campaign name. So camp 1, these are, you can see mine, conversion, USA. UTM term, I can call this Shopify, right? I'll call this Shopify, and then male, female, 18 to 65. You can do whatever you want. You could do USA instead of worldwide. And now you're gonna click save and copy URL. Now you see this URL right over here? You would actually use this inside of Facebook. You would just place it right inside of the website URL. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up, and as you can see, nothing happens except goes to the actual product page. So it takes us to the product page. Now remember, I went ahead and used CBO, Camp 1 Conversion USA, Shopify, MF1865 USA. So if I go back to my campaigns, it'll appear under myshopify.com. Now for visitors, because I went ahead and already had the code installed. But I'm actually gonna click right over here and click UTM Performance. Now you can see that the 2 clicks came from Facebook. Now I used incognito, and then I also used my regular browser, so it counts that as unique. But we can always reset the stats. If I go by campaign, you can see that this 1 click just came from me in Camp 1 Conversion USA. And so if I go ahead and just search term, you can see also that it was Shopify. I got that 1 click, right? It was the CBO campaign. And so if I go to Facebook, CBO, and we can track by exactly which campaign we want to look at. So we can do 1 USA content, we can do USA, and then we can see the term is Shopify. Now, if we wanted to reset everything, we can. So we can actually even go ahead and take this a step further and toggle your cost per click, cost per action, cost per engagement, cost per sale. It'll track everything for you, your average order value, your ROAS. And for this to calculate, at the end of the day, you want to go ahead and just do the following. You want to go and click this little gear icon, update ad spend, and let's just say you spent $5. It'll calculate this, $1.25, all of this. It'll literally calculate everything for you, and then where the actual clicks came from. So if I just change this at the end, let's just say to 55, and let me grab that, and let's open this up again. Let's close this. Now let's see what happens here. So 5 clicks, as you can see, it updated. Source, let's go to term. Yep, there we go, content, excuse me. We have the new tracking. So we're able to go ahead and track where the sales came from, right? So it'll appear in the revenue and how much you spent with your profit. So this is huge for us guys, like huge. This is how you track. You're gonna need a custom tracking link for each and every single ad set that you have, because this is how you truly track. This is the simple way that you're gonna be able to make a lot of money. If Facebook removes the ability to target interests and you gotta just target with hundreds of different ad sets that target a few different ranges, you're gonna need to track what ranges those are, right? Because the pixel isn't gonna do you justice anymore. You're gonna have to track this way. So that's why this is so powerful. I hope you see how incredible this truly is. So now that you know everything that's going on and how to solve it and how to use UTMs as well, I highly suggest getting ready for a big pivot. As a matter of fact, I would start considering tracking your particular site with either Google Analytics, ClickMagick, Volume, whatever type of UTM tracking that you can go ahead and get your hands on right now. I would suggest starting to implement it. Not only is it better than actual pixel data, but UTMs requires a lot of extra work, but they actually track exactly as you need. So again, let's brace for impact, because this is only going to get worse before it gets better. So with that being said, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget to smash the like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.